Heyo! YouTube. Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Chris. At my couch. This is my couch. Today we're going to talk about books I've finished, books I've started, books I've DNF'd, because I DNF'd one this week, and, I broke my book buying ban, but let me explain to you in a bit why that happened. My glasses are so dirty. Holy shoot. Okay, so I finished a 300-page book. I DNF'd a under 150-page book that's supposed to go in one of my collections later this year. And I started a graphic novel, and I started another book that's under 150 pages, but will not be making the list. So let's start there, right? So, books I finished. This was, I have a tier list of comics, manga, graphic novels is a tier list. Books under 300 pages and books over 300 pages. I have every time I finish a book, I put a certain amount into a little piggy bank that's shaped like a book. We can go over that another time. Not that I didn't just go over it. So my book that I finished, over 300 pages, was a young adult novel called The Wood. This is by Chelsea Bobalinski. Probably butchered that, I apologize. This was fun. I struggled a little bit in the beginning. It just seemed to just drag on. It was really slow. The secondary character, Henry, is introduced. It got a lot more interesting. I think that this book does a really great job depicting grief under weird circumstances. So when you don't have all the answers and how your grief continues to stick with you, and then how when you do have the answers, sometimes that grief still doesn't go away. I think this is a really fun book. I think it's got really good moral grounds on, like, if you could change the past, would you? But then it's also you're changing the past that you think would be best from your perspective, but is that actually best? Which I think is really interesting. I did have a great time with this book. Like I said, the beginning is a little hard to get through. It's kind of a little slow, but I guess it just depends on who you are, what you like. I had a really good time with this. I actually haven't rated this book yet or put it in my little book journal yet. I have put money into my little fund for it, but it was fun. I do recommend this book for young adult readers, especially young adult readers that have maybe lost a parent. This is a good book. Very good book. Directly after finishing this book, at work, mind you, I ended up trying to read Double Indemnity by, James M. Cain. So, this book was published in 1936, and I DNF'd this book at page 15. I was having a really hard time. The lingo from the 30s and books that I read in the 20s now, it just didn't, I was struggling with it, and then I was just really bored with the concept of it. I haven't really explained anything about how I choose books at the library. I don't. I walk around, I find books that look like they're under 150 pages for a YouTube video and collection I want to do later down the road when I get some more books into it. And I just grab them. I don't read the backs. I don't know anything about the authors. I don't know when they're published. I don't know the writing style. I grab them, I put them in my stack, I give them a go. This one, unfortunately, was terrible for me personally. Now, I've done some research since DNFing this book. Fun fact, in 1944, they did a movie adaptation of this book that I actually kind of am interested in watching. Just because I had such a hard time with it doesn't mean that it's not an interesting concept, right? So, the writing's a little funky just because it's the 30s. So, writing now to writing then is a lot different. So, I do think that if you're cool with old-timey writing, you'll do just fine. I've talked to a friend of mine, Solomon, who said that the writing seemed pretty similar to Catching of the Rye, or Ryan's Catching. I can't remember. I'll put it on screen. The title. He said that if it's anything like that writing, it is kind of hard, but if that's your kind of writing, I think you'll get into it. So what is this book about? I'm rambling about it, but I'm not telling you anything. So this is, let me read you the back. Walter Huff was an insurance salesman with a unfailing instinct for clients who might be in trouble, and his interest led him to Phyllis Nerdlinger. Phyllis wanted to buy an accident policy on her husband, and then she wanted her husband to have an accident. Walter wanted Phyllis to get her. He would arrange the perfect murder, betray everything he had ever lived for. Basically, what I've gathered from the book, Phyllis wants accident insurance. The salesman wants Phyllis. Damn, the 30s are no better than today. I just had a really hard time. First of all, because they kept calling her Miss Nerdlinger. I can't stand the name. And part of the reason I DNF'd this book was quite literally because I couldn't stand Phyllis's last name. Two, it was just really hard to get through. I also wasn't understanding some terms. I had my buddy Solomon actually explain a term to me because I had posted a TikTok video being like, hey, I actually don't know what this like phrase means. And he explained it. And I was like, oh, okay. Which is kind of fun because I want to use the phrase now. It's like bawling yourself out. And I was like, dude, what a weird phrase. I didn't understand it when I read it. And now I'm like, man, I want to use it. In what context? I don't know, because I don't really have a lot of moments where I'm beating the shit out of myself, you know? So yeah, that was Double Indemnity. If you think it's up your alley, give it a go. It was just not something I could get through, and it will not be making the list of 150-page books that I think people trying to get back into reading should get to read. That was terrible. But that's okay. And then I started directly after this one. I started another book that's under 150 pages. I have 3 of them this week that I picked up from the library. This is Riots I Have Known by Ryan Chapman. This will not be making the cut. This will not be making the cut for a completely different reason. I am reading this because it's interesting. Am I having a hard time reading it? Yes, I am. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. There are so many large words that I have had to use dictionary.com to explain to me because I didn't know what they meant. And let me show you just the internals. So there's no dialogue in this, and it is quite literally walls of text. Just walls of it. And part of that is what is hard. I have to be in the complete opposite room, no noise, for me to actually focus on reading on this book. I can't be, like, in here casually reading while my husband's watching YouTube. Like, I'm having a hard time reading it, but I'm invested in the story. But it's definitely a book for experienced readers. And honestly, I am not that experienced of a reader. I'm having a hard time reading it, but I'm giving it a go because I am invested in this. Now, Chris, what is this about? Let me tell you. It's about an unnamed inmate during a prison riot. Crazy. He locks himself in like the control media room, and it's his perspective of the different like news outlets that he can see. I get an itch. I'm so sorry. It's his perspective of the different news outlets that he can see on the different media, like televisions and stuff like that. And he's also like, I think has written a novel or wrote a novel or writing a novel in prison that he's like published. I'm still trying to like I said, I'm not understanding everything that's going on. And mind you, I am only 33 pages into this, and it took me like an hour to get that far. It is a hard read. I'm struggling, but I'm giving it a go. I'm really pushing my limits, because I would like to know what my limits are. So this won't be making the cut for that either. But that's for an entirely different reason. Totally different reason. Oh boy, I'm talking too fast. So, this one won't make it, but it is still, I think I will still rate it pretty high because it is fun, it is interesting, and it's definitely outside of my comfort zone and a lot higher reading comprehension than I normally read, to be completely honest. So, there's that one. And then, last but not least, I am starting Red Threads by... Nope, not gonna try. I'm gonna embarrass myself. I apologize. I should have looked up how to pronounce that before I started this video and didn't think about it. I'm going to start this. It's a graphic novel. It should be just a teen/young adult graphic novel. Yeah, T for teen. Woo! I just grab graphic novels. I love graphic novels. Adults, teens, whatever. I've only had a couple I haven't really liked. So I'm going to start this one. It's going to be next up. Oh, shoot. I have another book I started at work because Riots I Have Known, I could not take to work with me because there's no way I can focus at work. I can, like, casually read at work in my slow periods. I bartend. Remember, I bartend, and my bar gets pretty slow. So, let me grab the other one. Here we go. I had it in my book. In my bag. Oh my gosh. I'm really just speed speaking today. I picked up Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher. It's actually what I've had on my shelf. And my husband bought it for me for Christmas because he loves me. It's got the green sprayed edges, which I did have to explain to him I didn't like, but I do appreciate the fact that he listened to my books that I wanted to buy. So, And also, it's my favorite author. Like I said, you'll hear this author probably forever. I just really like her. So, what is this about, Chris? So far, and from what I've gathered from the synopsis or back of book or whatever, it's about a woman who works in poison. She's like 30-something. And so she works on poisoning herself and working on antidotes. And the king comes in and his daughter is like dying. And he suspects someone has poisoned her and has come to her to take a look at her. Nothing lost, nothing gained. He goes, I've had so many physicians coming in and I have been recommended all of them, and you're the only one that's nobody recommended. I just remembered that your dad had said something about your skills like a year ago. And I want you to come look at my daughter. And she's basically sitting there like, I don't want to get killed if I can't help your kid. And he's like, let me guess, you don't want to get killed for helping my kid if you fail. And she's like, what the hell? And he goes, yeah, don't worry. If like there's nothing to lose here because either you can fix her or she doesn't get any better. Like we're at net neutral here. So yeah, I just started this one. I just made it into chapter 2, and so far I liked it. I like the character's internal monologue a lot. It's kind of funny because she's just like scatterbrained. She doesn't see a lot of people. And then when you have the king just walk into your apothecary, like I'd probably be pretty out of sorts too. So yeah, that's it. That's what I got for right now. So thank you guys so much for your ongoing support. There's no cats in this video because they're all behind the camera drinking water today, and Cookie's sleeping by the back door. So okay, that's it. I still don't know how to end these things, so see ya. This is gonna be a lower quality video because I forgot to mention this in my big boy video. So Legends and Lattes, if you know of it, right? Yes. A lot of people do. I am not sponsored. I need to make this known. I'm not sponsored. I broke my book buying ban specifically because a friend of mine messaged me on Instagram that they were doing a graphic novel adaptation of Travis Baldry's Legends and Lattes, and I was at the bar and I was drinking with my husband, and on the bar top I went, oh my god, they're doing a graphic novel adaptation of Legends and Latte, and my husband went, oh my god, we definitely need to get that. And I was like, absolutely, just to find out that there was pre-orders. I may or may not have spent $44 on the limited edition signed copy for it to show up at my door on like around October 6th. No regrets, okay? I recommend this book always. Anyways, that was why I broke my book buying ban. Okay, thanks, bye.